welcome to Stride by Stride. I'm Martin.
I'm Josh.
And today we are running with Joe.
Hi everyone.
Right, okay, so we're going to get this started today, and we are down at Conham River Park, which is in East Bristol, Conham sort of area, and we're just doing a bit of trail. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be talking about Brecon's Cardiff Trail Race, which took place last weekend. Is that right, Josh?
About a week and a half ago.
Okay.
About that.
We're going to be talking about Dursley Dozen. What?
The cross-country race.
Oh, yes.
Joe did.
Yeah, the cross-country race. Can't forget that, which of course Joe did as well. And we've also got the food bank run. But first of all, we're going to talk to you, Joe, for a little bit. So welcome. Thank you very much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Right. So we've chosen trail for you. And I thought probably what we'll do to start off with is talk about your relationship with trail running. So, because you love it.
I do, yeah.
So where's that all come from?
Well, I haven't always loved it.
Okay.
It's
I learned love.
yes, probably over the last 5-6 years. So
Okay.
I've been running consistently now for about 10 years, which is when I joined Emerson's Green running club. And I used to hate trail.
Okay.
I used to match the fill road running. And then I heard a couple of people from the club talking about trail running, and they managed to persuade me to enter a few trail races. And then I just fell in love with it. I think it takes you to so many beautiful parts of the world. You don't have to worry about clock watching. So, yeah, trail is my preference now. I very rarely do any road races anymore. So,
Oh, that's good. So clock watching, I mean, that's a bit of a phenomena, isn't it? You know, like people talk about the fact that being a slave to the watch. Josh, you mentioned that in the last podcast as well.
Yeah, it's just so nice to not worry about listening or watching the watch, just having that freedom. Joe, so you said just then that you joined Emerson's Green 10 years ago.
yep.
What kind of a runner were you back then?
Good question. Probably not as consistent as what I am now. And if you had said to me, let's wait for the train to go by. If you had said to me back then that I would have ran a marathon and a couple of ultras, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
So, and I think as well as kind of proving my running, I just met so many other people that
Yeah. That is one of the great things about the club. The other thing I sort of wanted to ask you is you're a very fast runner, and sometimes I see on my Strava that you went out for a run at lunchtime, quick run round the block, 5 miles, 39 minutes. What does it actually feel like when you're running that fast?
So it's generally, if I'm going out on my own, I'd probably average about 7:30 to 7:40 minute miles.
Yeah, I see that. It's like,
And that feels okay.
so it feels quite easy to you, does it?
Quite comfortable, yeah.
What is the kind of threshold where you feel, my God, I really can't really run any faster?
Go up here.
Would probably be my 5k sort of time. So anything below 6:30s, I'm like, geez, how am I going to be able to maintain this?
Starting to work a bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's like you kind of click, don't you, into a gear, and you're starting to think, oh, this is starting to feel, sometimes I describe it as comfortably hard.
Yeah.
And then you're going, right. And then you're going into the slightly more than comfortably hard, where you're starting to think, oh, I'm panting a little bit here. Legs are working slightly harder than like I would normally do on an easy pace.
Yeah.
So
I hate that uncomfortable feeling as well.
right.
For me, that's around about 10-minute miles.
So but sometimes with the discomfort, it kind of just reminds us as well how we should scale things back, or
Yeah,
actually, oh God,
sort of listening to your body.
yeah. So, and what's your kind of strategy when you're in that sort of zone, Joe, when you're thinking, oh, this is uncomfortable? Is it just a case of kind of scaling it back a little bit, or is it just ride with it and see what happens?
Grin and bear it.
Yeah. Okay. And what's that grin and bear it kind of strategy for you? You know, is it a case of like, oh, what strategies do you pull on to kind of get you through those tough moments?
Yeah, I think generally when I'm grinning and bearing it, it's for like the quick 5 to 10Ks.
Right.
And it's just reminding myself that it's going to be over soon.
Right. Okay. The pain is short-lived, but victory is forever. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's quite tough, isn't it? Sometimes reminding yourself of working towards outcome-based kind of experience, isn't it? You know, like that motivation of a medal or of a cake or
A beer at the end.
yeah, or a placing or something like that. You know, that can motivate during a race, can't it? But actually, between races, that can be quite tough, can't it? So, how is it that you kind of recover after one of those? What sort of things do you draw on to help you with your recovery, I guess, after a really tough one?
I would definitely have a couple of rest days from running.
Yeah.
I've got a dog, so I've got to get out for a walk with her at least once a day. So that helps to kind of loosen things up. I generally try and do a couple of sessions of yoga each week. So I struggle with a bit of a bad back, my shoulders.
Right.
So that's good to help not only stretch my muscles out and make sure my IT bands aren't getting too tight, but also help my back and my core. And so dog walking and yoga, really.
Right, okay.
I was wondering if you could sort of tell me how you sort of stay so grounded. Because when I joined the club, you know, I kind of looked around at all the people, and in the sort of the long group, yourself, Martin, all these sort of amazing runners. But how do you keep yourself sort of, like say, grounded when you're going out, you're doing your races, you're winning your medals, and you're sort of your first lady, second lady? How do you sort of stay normal?
Stay normal. I don't know if I'm normal, Josh.
we use the term normal with a lot of flexibility there, okay?
What I'm saying is, how do you sort of stay, how do you not get big-headed?
Oh, Josh, that's so lovely, bless you. I think it's about like what others around me are doing, because so many people can come, like, do these amazing running achievements, like you when you did the Brecon to Cardiff. And I had a couple of friends come out for dinner last night, and they were asking what I was doing today, and I was telling them, and I was sharing with them about your journey.
Right.
And they were just mind blown.
Really?
But you've gone from not being a runner to running ultra marathons, and
I am a bit crazy.
so I think it's a big part of it is what others around me are doing, and some of the amazing achievements. Martin running 100 miles.
Absolutely, yeah.
Along the Cotswold Way.
112 people, come on, don't shortchange me.
Wasn't it 117?
100, well, maybe 100, I don't know, somewhere about there.
A bit on.
Only Martin, who can run 100 miles, can extend it a little bit more.
Yeah, it was, well, to be fair, as people will know from our first podcast, the getting lost is actually part of the whole fun.
Yeah.
And customary, really. So, Joe, any big events coming up this year?
So I've got Grizzly
Yes.
next Sunday, which is, for those of you who don't know, I definitely recommend it. It's 20 miles off-road, starting in C10 and just running along the coastline. It's brutal, but it's amazing. So I've got that. And then a 30-mile ultra in Pembrokeshire,
Wow.
June, which I'm looking forward to because I've never done any running around that part of the world.
Okay.
And then I've also entered Bristol Trail Marathon in September.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So that's the only things I've got in at the moment.
Grizzly. I want to talk a little bit more about the Grizzly because, well, number one, I'm jealous. It's never made it onto my race calendar, but it needs to. And number two, I kind of promised I would. So it starts Seaton in Devon and takes in a fairly kind of technical, brutish course. But what is it about that race that makes it so special for you?
I think the atmosphere, it's really well organised.
Yep.
It's reasonably priced to enter, and just the views on the day. And generally, the other runners on the day are just really like they'll stop and chat. But I think for me, it's the views. It's beautiful.
Right. Okay. And in terms of race organisation, tell us a little bit about that.
It's quite I can't remember exactly how many entrants they've got, but it's a very, very big field.
Right.
I've run it 2 times before, and it's all starts on time, really nice marshals, and just where it is as well, by the sea, things like parking and getting there, it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah. So I'm working everyone out at the moment. We're going up a hill. So
I'm dying.
we're in Conham Woods, or Hencliffe Woods actually at the moment. So, which is between St George and Hanham. It's lovely parts of Bristol if anyone wants to go. Or if indeed anyone wants to actually follow our route, it's available on Garmin Routes and it's saved as Stride by Stride episode 2. So you can pick up the GPX route, follow it.
And good hill training.
Great hill training. And actually, do you know what? We've lost Josh a moment, so we're just going to recapture our breath on this hill. Oh, which of course, when you're doing a podcast, you need to be able to talk. Right, so Grizzly, again, sounds like a really great event for those people that want to do trail races. And I think what we'll do at this stage is we'll take a bit of a break, and we'll talk about the food bank run that we did at club. So Emerson's Green this year had a charity, in 2024 had a charity of the North Bristol and South Gloucestershire Food Bank. And a couple of weeks ago, the club, with its raised money and a bunch of food donations, went along and showed our appreciation for the work that they did there. We listened to a feature that we created, and we're going to put that in here so that we can get our breath back. See what you think.
In 2024, South Gloucestershire Food Bank was our chosen charity for Emerson's Green Running Club. This is where we run and donate. On Thursday, the 20th of February, Neil Newman, our chairman, led us to the Food Bank Centre. We had also raised a significant amount of money. This is where Neil presented a cheque along with our food to Steve, the centre's manager.
Nice and quickly, because you're all nice and sweaty, and I bet you can't wait to run all the way back home. This is Steve, and Steve's just going to give a brief mention about what the food bank does and what this Steve is going to happen to all this.
Right. Well, first of all, many thanks for all the donations. It's the third one you've done, and they're all greatly appreciated, and they all get put to good use. What will happen with the food now is it'll get sorted into date order, so we don't waste anything by missing out on a best before date and anything like that. And then it will be given out to the clients.
A YouGov survey for the Food Foundation revealed that there was a massive 13.6% of households living in food poverty in the mid-quarter of 2024. There is a need for families across the support of food banks like this in North Bristol and South Gloucestershire for emergency support. Steve continues to explain how individuals are able to access food bank support.
Clients are recommended to us from housing associations, councils, doctors, schools, churches, also I think about 190 different organisations in Bristol.
There is a choice between eating, heating, or even things like paying for prescription medicine. The support of the food bank does stretch beyond the positives of food and laundry items.
If we've got it, they can have it. And we also try and make sure that they've got the ongoing support that they need.
The food bank operates as an emergency provisions of aid, but they also act as a signposting service to aid resilience within households.
Are they contacting the council? Are they applying for grants? We've normally got a citizens advice person that's here with us on a Friday morning, so they can talk to them straight away. And over the past 2 or 3 years, they've got cookers, they've got fridges, all sorts of grants for heating, got bills just wiped out, everything.
The aim of the food bank is clearly to give guarantees and support and help to manage without the aid of their services.
We like people to be in a position where they can afford to buy their own food and do what they want and not have to come to a food bank.
There is a large amount of food and support that there are handing out by the food bank. We were interested to know how this is possible and learn more about the unique funding approach.
And we've got the food, we'll be here giving it out. But we can only do that with the donations from people like yourself. We've got other community groups, a lot of women's institutes do it. Obviously with Harvest, you've got the schools, you've got the churches, and everything has got to be donated.
There are a lot of families who require support, and we found out exactly how much food comes through the service.
We took in about 16 tonnes of food and we gave out nearly 14 tonnes. Now, the other 2 tonnes doesn't go to waste because it goes to our warehouse in Hallfield because we're one of 9 food banks within North Bristol, South Gloss.
It was a pleasure to meet Steve and learn more about the impact of Emerson's Green Running Club, donating and what happens afterwards.
So, as I said, a big thank you to you all your help and assistance with this is greatly appreciated.
Neil continues to discuss how money has been raised for the food bank over the last 12 to 18 months.
Last year, people that entered one of our races, the Doynton Hard Half Marathon, were given the option to donate to charity, and our charity for 2024 was the food bank. And we do a charity fundraising event every December where we do laps of Pomfrey Hill, Light Up the Night, which I'm sure most of you attended. So this isn't a real check. Obviously, this is the presentation version. There's a check coming to the food bank from the running club for £1,012, which is thanks to all your efforts for volunteering like you did, for running around in circles, for making and eating cakes. So give yourselves a big round of applause. And there's more, because we did some fundraising 18 months ago, was it, Steve, Anne? And that money sort of sat in a drawer and only got found when they moved house. So there's a further £200 coming, which makes it £1,212.
Wow, that was amazing. Hope you enjoyed it. That was the Food Bank Special. Until next time.
So, that was a great piece. Joe, did you go along on the food bank night?
No, I wasn't able to make it. I can't remember what I was up to. But no, I just made it. It was fun that Thursday.
Josh,
It was a great night.
you were there? Yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. Something we really do well at club is giving back to charities, local charities,
And the community.
and the community. Oh, yeah, we want to on that cliff. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and we haven't chosen our charity for this year yet, but that will follow in due course. Over the last few years, we've had South Gloss, Food Bank, obviously. We had a mental health charity the year before.
This one's East Bristol.
That's it.
Yeah, they passionate about it, close to my heart.
Yeah. So we choose like local small charities, which is really good to do. Josh,
That's right.
let's talk about Brecon to Cardiff, mate.
So, yeah, 15 weeks of training, all boiled down to one race. Very early start. I ran with my good friend Mark. He's just coming back from injury. And I would say it was a really good race. Well signposted, almost to the fact that you didn't need to worry about where you were going. It was that good. Great aid stations, great medal. And if you think of doing your first ultra, that'd be the one to do.
Is it the one what called?
Yes, it is.
I've done a few of it. I've only heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a few run walk. Josh, did you benefit from the sausage and chips?
We did not. But we decided to push on and get to the finish.
Pretty round.
And we completed it in 9 hours and 10 minutes.
Oh, that's really good,
So,
mate.
yeah, job done.
And some incredible performances on that day.
Yeah.
I think the course record went both for men and women on that day. So I think the male finisher was 5 hours and 25. And this way, actually, guys. Sorry, just having a thought there. So the male finisher was 5:25. Context, my time on that was 6:35. And I thought that was fast.
Well done.
And the women's finisher, 5:55.
Oh,
Wow.
So super quick. And in fact, actually,
That's kind of Joe. Kind of Joe's run.
yeah,
I don't know that man.
You word listeners.
it's interesting actually because it has the potential to really turn out some very quick times because it is, other than that hill from about 6 miles,
Yeah.
it's a quick course.
It is.
And actually, again, it's not too much shorter than like
The Green Man.
Green Man
For
context,
weight.
but it is faster. So you can turn out quite a quick. So, Joe, what's the furthest race that you've done?
I think probably about 35 miles.
Okay.
It should have been about just over 30.
Right.
It was the Ham to Lime Ultra.
Oh, yes.
And I got off and get lost as well, Martin. I got lost and ended up adding a few miles on.
Yeah.
But surely that is the joy of ultras and running in general.
It.
Well, I was near the end. I
Yeah.
was pretty exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a bit annoyed.
I think that's fine. I think given how you were feeling at the time, because actually were you leading at the time?
I went, yeah. I was first female. Yeah, so I was disappointed, but it was a beautiful route, and yeah, it finishes in line. So I did get over it.
Yeah. It is disappointing when you're sort of in that position. I remember ages ago, it must have been when I was about 15. I was doing a road race. It was a 10k or maybe 8k or something like that, like a more junior race. And I was leading and we got sent the wrong way.
Oh.
And then later on, further down the path, they got sent the right way. So actually you lost, it was a loss after that. You were just trying to recoup as many places as you could. And it is really frustrating. And
I did get the past option.
right.
The map form.
Yeah. Is that kind of helping a little bit?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's,
definitely.
and it's and I guess for those that might be taking up sort of trail running, you know, when you're starting out, you might be using a watch that you use on the road, and that might be absolutely fine. But, you know, if you're not confident in finding your way, then you might need a little bit of support. Just letting everyone catch up a moment.
Yeah.
So that we will get you all on the microphone.
Right, next we need to talk about you and Joe when you did the cross-country races you've been doing.
Yeah.
So, you could tell us a bit about that, Spartan and Joe?
Yeah, so Joe, it's your first one.
Yes, it was. I wasn't able to make the previous 3, so it was my first one. It was brutal. It was so hard. I think I enjoyed it.
Type 2 type fun.
Yeah. And Josh was asking me earlier, like, what keeps me grounded. I mean, there was some very impressive runners there that day.
So then were you drawing on like inspiration from others to help you along? Were you feeling the vibe from the wider community?
Yeah, and that was the last mile, sorry, was definitely gritting my teeth and just getting it done. It was very wet and muddy underfoot, so it made it quite hard work.
Yeah. It's so for context, it's Gloucestershire League cross country, which runs from October through to February. It's a 4-race series. This current season, the first race was at Yates. Then the second race was at Cirencester Park. Third race was the Intercounties at Bath University. And then finally, the final race in February was at Cheltenham Pittville Park. Yeah, Joe, it's really competitive, isn't it? Yeah. Did that take you by surprise? I mean, how surprised were you with the quality of the field?
I was expecting it. The club members that had been that way to make the previous event
I had already told you.
Yeah, the field is quite impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was expecting it.
Yeah. We're just by the ring road right now, so there is a bit of traffic noise. Yeah, so other performances at the club. Ian.
So you got second in the race for the series?
Well, thank you very much for saying that. Otherwise, it sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet.
No, don't do that, mate.
No, that's all right. We
And you got a nice medal.
We could do that occasionally. What I want to say is that actually it's okay to celebrate your own performances, people.
Yeah.
You know, so let's normalise that rather than feeling ashamed about it. So yeah, I came second overall in this series V45. Ian Leonard came second in the V50, which is probably less surprising. And then Hannah Baggett came 8th in senior women, which is bloody phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because it is really a tricky category. And then we had other runners. Adrian was 12th, which I think took him by surprise as well. In V45, it is quite competitive down this track here. And big shout out to Brian Adamson, who was the coach driver on the day and also ran. I say coach, we went in his tiny car. It's fine, this way. And we had Jordan there. Nicola Runke was there as well. She loved it, didn't she, Joe?
Yes.
I think when she got cheered on, I think the words were repeatable. It was very polite, which was like,
I hate my life.
Oh, I hate my life. Yes, yeah. Yeah, so she was questioning her life choices at that particular moment in point, which of course we've all done. And if you've been out on a run and you've questioned your life choices in a race, please share those with us. We are now on our own Instagram channel, which is stride_by_stride. And that is, so stride by stride with underscores in between. You can follow us there and tell us about your life regretting moments, which of course is what makes up running.
Yeah. Absolutely.
when my alarm went off this morning, 6:30 on Saturday morning, I was questioning my life choices. So it's really crazy people go out so early.
Morning.
Here you are.
Here I am. Yeah.
So, Joe, I think what we both need to do also at this moment in point in time is actually congratulate you on being Emerson's Green Club Championship Women's Champion for 2024. What a journey, huh?
Yeah, I was, so when I saw the Club Champ race for last year, because quite a few were off-road and trail, I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. You've already mentioned Ian, but so Ian he got the male club championships and stood there next to him with another grounding moment, Josh.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I really like about club, where you've got all these amazing runners, but how normal everybody is. And you can just approach them, ask them advice, or, just talk about what they had for tea. Really nice.
Joe, what was your highlight of the club championship last year? I mean, other than the actual, here's the trophy in my hand.
My highlight? I don't think one particular thing stands out. I think it was during races and like having a really big club presence.
Yeah.
And being able to lift share to races, and just before a race I do get a bit anxious and if I'm getting there on my own in the car, and so yeah, I don't think one thing stands out. I think it's the club community at those races.
Yeah, because I mean that can be really quite uplifting for people, can't it? And it can make a difference between perhaps maybe doing that race or staying at home and not doing that race.
Yeah, definitely.
So, was there one particular race where you kind of like thought, okay, well, God, the club's really coming together on this? And
I think Conham Dandy,
okay,
which is a really local base, so just down the road in Conham, ironically.
Yeah, medal improved, everyone, but only slightly. Okay.
Yeah, so I think there was quite a big club presence, and just everybody after they finished, waiting for others to come in and cheering other people on, and
Yeah, it makes a real difference, actually.
yeah.
Makes you feel part of the club, spurs you on to go a bit faster, maybe, when you're feeling a bit depleted.
Yeah, definitely.
I did have a hideous hangover, both on that race and the Bower Hill Bobber, which was an earlier club championship race. I didn't have the best preparation.
Do you feel that's an advantage for you?
It can work well, Josh, because it means I go into the race feeling a bit more relaxed.
Yeah. Lower expectations as well, Joe. It's like, oh, anything could happen today. Joe, you and I have definitely had conversations. I'm just going to share the fact that Joe was a brilliant kind of support and advocate during my Cotswold Way challenge back in 2023. She ran with me for about 20 miles.
Yeah,
Probably
wasn't it?
Yeah, round about the 70-mile mark, which of course was really, really brilliant. And you were sharing a lot of your kind of post-drinking session runs. And I got to admit, I wasn't very chatty at the time, but I loved listening, and it was actually quite uplifting. It's like, well, at least I'm not running hungover, was what I was thinking at the time.
But maybe you should.
Yeah. What's your tipple of choice, Joe?
To be honest, like,
It's wet and alcoholic, that I do, yeah.
Probably white wine.
Okay.
Or Prosecco. I do quite like a coffee tequila as well.
Yeah. Cool, I had one of those the other week. First time I've had one of those. I'm not a big drinker, so... Oh, yes. Right, okay, so Conham Dandy was a really changeable day. So actually having the club out at the finish line supporting each other was a big deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it kind of really kept people's spirits high. And of course, what was your placing at Dandy, Joe?
First female.
Yeah, first female. Excellent. Brilliant. We were having a chat the other day, and this is kind of segue into our next cover, Dursley Dozen. Have you done Dursley Dozen?
Yeah, I've done it a few times.
Right. Okay, so here's the question. We were chucking in these 3 races. So Dursley Dozen, Doynton Hard Half, and the Dandy. Which do you think is the hardest?
Oh, the hardest. I definitely think Doynton.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think is the thing that makes that the hardest out of those 3?
I think it's the elevation within the first 3 miles.
Yes.
It's pretty muddy. And there's a few, like, quarter street crossings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably say Doynton, but that's maybe because the year I ran it, it was hailing.
Yeah.
And it was terrible weather.
You had some perfect conditions then.
Oh, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, I think.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because we all stood round at the end and thinking, oh, is this Dursley Dozen harder, Doynton harder? I had already said that I thought that both Doynton and Dursley were harder than the Dandy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the start of Thursday is brutal, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. But yeah, and the Dandy, I suppose the hardest thing about the Dandy is probably the river traverse, isn't it? Which is not hard, it just slows you down.
Cold and your legs after trying to warm up. And
Josh, you've done Doynton.
Yeah, I was a trail walker.
Yep.
It was 4 hours of sort of run, walking. And the reason it was quite slow for me is there was a lady in the race who was blind.
Okay.
Which, take my hat off to.
It's great, yeah.
It's tough doing it, being able to see, let alone blind. But yeah, it's a tough race, but a good race.
Yes.
best marshals in the business, I heard.
Yeah, not that you're biased or anything, Jay.
There is a question I'd like to ask Joe, actually. I'm at, obviously, at our running club, Emerson's Green Running Club, on a Tuesday night, Loopy Tuesday. Sort of have 3 groups, short, medium and long. And I know that you always go in long, Joe. But if there's somebody listening who's in medium maybe and wants to step up to the long, can you just tell us sort of what it's like and what they might expect if they decide to go long?
So I don't think it's that different from running medium. We might go a bit faster, but even the long group, people can get quite spread out. We always loop back.
Okay.
We're a friendly bunch.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that different from medium.
So if anybody's out there thinking, I'm a bit scared, but I want to do it, your advice is, yeah, come along.
Yeah.
And join us.
And as I say, we would always loop back. We would never leave anybody behind.
I think that'll be very encouraging to some of the medium people. And again, some of the short people who want to go medium.
You've come long a couple of times, haven't you, Josh, last year?
Yeah, I have, yeah. Trying to get my speed back. And yeah, I found it just the same as the medium group. A lot of fun, great people. I didn't feel that I had to, run 6-minute miles. I really enjoyed it. But I think it's also worth just putting it out there and, talking to you about it. The other thing I'd like to talk to you about is a bit of a sensitive subject. And I will understand if you don't want to talk about it. But I know that you said to us, a couple of months back, sort of a female runner going out for runs on her own. Would you like to talk about that? Or
Yeah, so I think it's a subject that I have got a lot to say on.
Good.
I think my stubborn nature helps, Josh, because I tend to not let things stop me. But
why should you?
I know, it does make me really mad that, as females, you've got to consider running in the dark. Well, even I had an incident on public transport on a bus in Bristol.
Right.
So it's not just running. It can affect other areas of my life as well.
Yeah.
And as I've mentioned, I've got a dog and I always need to walk her when I get home from work. And
Right.
during the winter, that is dark. I've got no option. And I tend to just take my phone with me. Yeah, and just to make sure I've got my wits about me, really. But I've had a couple of people say to me, "Oh, we saw you walking and running in the dark on your own," and I'm like, does that mean then in winter, 5 o'clock, I've just got to stay inside?
No.
Yeah.
It really made me think when you told me about it, how unfair it is. You know, men.
We have the privilege that we don't have to think about that.
No.
Which is, so actually sometimes it would be easy to not think about it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But actually, you know, within a community group of runners, you know, it is loud, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
Joe, about 48% of women actually do kind of say that they would think twice about going out in the dark, according to research. About 60% really worried about intimidation and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, from a woman to woman perspective, what advice would you give for those people that want to get out, but find it really difficult to make that first step?
No, so I think definitely running places. Hello.
Sorry, we just encountered a dog.
Definitely, yeah, running places that you're familiar with.
Yep.
Places with street lights.
Yeah.
As I say, when I'm out at night, I'll always carry my phone. Yeah, I think, and then if there's maybe other local females that you can link in with. So there's a local person that lives. My neighbour, she's got a dog, so we're quite often
Go out together.
Yeah, go out together in the evenings. Try not to let it stop you, but I appreciate it's really hard.
Yeah, it's tricky.
There is a risk out there.
Yeah, a real risk, and actually sometimes it could just be intimidation. We've all runners have experienced the run Forest run and other jibes that people shout out of doors, and I think when that's shouted out a guy, it's annoying. When it's shouted out at a woman, it's intimidating. Yeah. So, you know, here we are, two blokes interviewing you about women's safety and running. What, you know, we're looking, when I was reading up about it, a lot of the advice that you see out there written is all about what women should do. But what can we as guys do to help along?
I think a lot of it is about educating young boys.
Okay, I think that's a good idea, yeah.
Just think about some of the experiences I've had when I've been particularly running in Rowlett areas local to me. I've had you shouting out car windows, beeping horns, slowing down next to me. So I think some of it might be around educating, like sons, and more needs to be done in schools around it. If they think that's funny and that's okay.
Yeah. But it's not, if that sticks with you into adulthood, you know, because actually there is that teen thing. I see teenagers all the time, you know, on the way back from school, and there is invariably a comment, you know, but that's during the daytime. And again, like I say, I'm a guy. It's annoying. For a woman, that will land differently, won't it? Particularly if you are sort of nervous going out and about. Yeah, it's
Generally has two responses in me, and it depends, I suppose, how my day's gone. Sometimes it just makes me really angry.
Yep.
Other times it does make me really anxious instead.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's the thing, isn't it? You don't know when those comments are said, actually how that is going to affect anyone. So, you know, I suppose you've got to keep any response, any chat that you have with anyone, it's got to be quite simplistic, isn't it? Right? You know, so if you're passing, if I'm out running and I'm passing a group of women, I keep it really simple, which is morning, afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, keep it really simple because actually it's not loaded with anything and it can't be misinterpreted, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think also the other good thing is, you know, you are part of the Emerson Green Running Club. So at least 1 or 2 nights a week, you could, in winter, obviously, be much safer with us.
Morning.
Yes. Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that there's so many lovely men out there.
Yeah.
Like, it is just the minority.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's the old thing, isn't it? It's not all men, but it's always men. It's the thing to think about, you know, and that's quite an important thing to remember. That actually, you know, there are. It's always never everyone, is it?
Yeah.
Um,
But you just need one bad man to give all men a bad day.
you know, absolutely.
and then it's just how that, you know, the trauma with that, how that affects you. And, you know, you might be really triggered. And,
Yeah, and of course that might be the end of not only your running journey, but quite a lot of different aspects of your life can start impacting, you know, your everyday life, like going to the shop, going to work, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Thanks, Joe, for sharing that with you. There is advice out there for anybody who wants to get it. It is really publicly accessible, and also for men who want to know what more to do. There is a course that you can do that has been written by Good Jim, which is called Male Allyship, which, you know, is quite interesting. Only takes 15 minutes to do, and it just works out how you can, you know, be there, but not, you know, in not a patronising way.
is that free to access?
And it's free to access, yeah. And actually, I think useful for anyone to do, really, regardless of gender. Thanks, Joe. So we're going to talk about Dursley Dozen now, which was the last club championship race, and we've got a club championship race today, which we'll talk about in a bit. Whoops, almost kind of impaled myself on a branch there, which would have not gone down with the listeners. Josh, you would have to have done this on your own. Afterwards.
Oh, you know, I think in a couple of episodes' time, I could try that on my own, but obviously I witnessed.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. That's really sweet. Sorry, I meant that to sound more sincere than it actually did.
Didn't just need to say that course it was on about.
Yes. So, yeah, right. So Dursley Dozen is a 12-mile hillish course. Well, it's not even hillish, it's hilly. In Gloucestershire, Dursley is around about halfway between Bristol and Gloucester. And it's set in the beautiful Cotswolds. But with the Cotswolds, that means some very steep ascents. Some chalky ground with some muddy trails as well, chucked in. And it's organised by our colleagues at Dursley Running Club. Joe's run it, I've run it, and I did it last weekend. It was hard because I did it after the cross country, which was a stupid idea. So I managed to finish it in 1:43.
Right, that's great.
Strictly on tired legs.
Yeah. Well, I surprised myself, I think. It's got some quite tricky descents on it. Andy Small finished in 1:53.
Were you first back from club, Martin?
I was first back from club.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the other side. So 1:50, right behind Andy Small was Simon Wood, and then Graham came in soon after that. And then we had Alan Allison, who was about 5 minutes behind that. And then we also had Patrick ran it, Duncan ran it, and Paul Griffiths ran it, and Julia was representing the women.
Brilliant.
So it is runnable. The cut-offs are reasonable. So I would say if anyone wanted to do trail, wanted to give it a shot, is that there actually wouldn't be a bad race to pick up. So some good results there from club. Today is the first club championship part run at Chipping Sudbury. Both done Chipping Sudbury?
No, I haven't. I've
good.
never done it. I'm hoping to make it in 2 weeks' time. I think on the 15th. But no, I've never done Chipping Sudbury.
Yeah, so it's
a very fast course.
Fast course.
Yeah.
Gravel tracks. It is quite tight.
Does it get quite busy?
Yeah.
It can get quite busy. It's quite well disciplined in terms of slow run, fast run. In my experience, people do make way for faster runners.
Yeah.
But it is tight.
Yeah.
But you could easily get a PB on that course.
Yeah, you could. Start at the front, finish first, boom.
Well, that's the dream, isn't it? You know.
It's okay. But you two guys, yeah.
So we've got that coming up. And so it'll be interesting to see what results we get after those 2 runs, which will lead us up to the 15th of March. And then at the end of the month, we've got Gloucester Half. Either of you doing that?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay.
I'm doing it part of my marathon training. I'm doing Newport Marathon in April.
March.
The marathon.
Oh, yeah, marathon's in April.
Yeah, so that should be
All
good.
up here.
Good club turnout. I'm also doing the Frampton Cottrell Globe the day before.
The day before.
The day before.
Oh, that's the way to prepare, mate.
Well,
I mean, trust me.
you know, I am an ultra runner, so should be able to do it. But yeah, I just absolutely love that race because you get a bottle of beer with your name on it, which I think is a really nice touch. Plus the beer, well, certainly last year was absolutely lovely.
Oh, yes, run for the reward.
Yeah.
Joe, bit of a closed question this, but would you ever do back-to-back races?
No, I don't think I would.
Why?
Because I don't like feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, I thought that might be your answer.
But Joe, you surprised me because, as you said earlier, you've often run hungover. It's like the same deal.
Same thing, but just in your legs.
Yeah. No, I don't think I would do that. I think also because I'm a bit too lazy.
Yeah.
Lazy or sensible, I think. It's a thin line between, Joe. So we've done Dursley Dozen, we've done cross country, we've done Brecon to Cardiff. So we've covered quite a lot of ground.
Would it be a good time to mention our special offer for this one?
Oh, actually it would, Josh. Go ahead.
So, obviously, we've started Stride by Stride, the podcast. And we're keen to give you a special offer. So, if you're listening to the podcast and you live in the Bristol area and you think, I'd really like to go to the club, find out what it's all about, if you go onto Eventbrite and look up Emerson's Green Running Club, you can book on as a guest. This usually costs £2, but we will put a voucher on our podcast, but this is it, I suppose, where you can come along free of charge.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
The code is Stride by Stride.
Yeah, all uppercase as well, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all uppercase, Stride by Stride. How long are we offering that for, Josh?
That's just the month of March.
Okay.
Great. So if you like what you hear and you think, I'd like to meet Joe and all the other people we talk about, please come on down and just sort of introduce yourself to us. We would love to meet you. And who knows, you could be on the next episode of the podcast.
Yes. Yeah, call the stars. Oh, I almost fell.
Just almost fell over a gate.
Yeah.
Gosh, look at your white shoe.
Yeah, just to let you know, listeners, make sure when you're coming out for a run, you read the details. Did say trail run, and I put road shoes on.
And he's not only got road shoes on, but he had very clean white road shoes on. And now looking a bit proud.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Dude, you've handled this terrain like a pro.
Yeah.
I've got to say.
Well, I haven't fallen over yet. I have had to walk a little bit. But yeah, I'm quite proud of myself.
Yeah, I would be. So we've done the code. Good, excellent. Let's talk about club this week. Josh, I know that you said I was going to talk about club sessions this week,
Okay.
but you're going to talk about it because
Okay.
I can't bother. Oh, I can be bothered, but
Okay, so this week I was run leader on Tuesday night. I was the run leader for the short group, which was down end, and it was really, really nice. I think there was about 7 or 8 in my group, and it was just a very nice, relaxed pace, 4.3 miles round down end and back to club, which was absolutely brilliant and a great way for everybody to do their miles at an easy pace. And then Thursday was my night at club, again, run leader. This was an out and back. Now, excuse me, usually when we do an out and back, we run one way for 20 minutes, very easy. And then we blow the whistle, I blow the whistle, and you have to get back to where we started in 19 minutes or less. But this week, I decided to put a bit of a twist on this and have 2 out-to-backs, both 10 minutes easy, and then effort back in 9 minutes or less, which I think went down really well. A lot of people seem to enjoy it. It's not actually my idea. I stole it from Neil, the chairman.
Best ideas are always stolen, mate.
But I think it's really good to do because it was a cold night and it pretty much kept the group together, yeah, within reason. So yeah, that was a good session. Yeah, that's it. About the club this week, really.
Joe, have you ever done that out and back split session?
I have, yeah. I've done it a couple of times. I really like out and back.
It's a real crowd pleaser.
Yeah. And it's nice, yeah, the twist when we do 2 out and backs. I would have liked to have made Thursday, but it's another thing actually that I do to try and keep my body injury free is I have acupuncture.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah, because as I mentioned, I struggle with a bad back, particularly my shoulders. But he also does quite a lot of work on my hips and IT bands, and so I had quite a brutal acupuncture session.
Well, how many pins do you reckon they stick in you?
So he probably did. So he did 2 points on my shoulders,
Nice.
and then a couple of points on my glutes. But he also does cupping.
Cupping? Sounds a bit wrong.
So it's when you get like a glass cup.
Right, sorry, yep.
Get your mind out of the gutter,
I'm
Josh.
so sorry, but you said cupping.
Family show, mate. Family
Sorry.
show.
Yeah, he heats it up, and then he puts the cup on your skin, and basically it's to get your blood flowing.
Sounds like torture.
I mean, I used to see my back. My back is black and blue. Yeah, it's bruised from it, but it's yeah, it really helps.
Okay.
No pain, no gain. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I've had acupuncture recently, actually, Joe, for the first time. I've been getting it for migraines.
Okay.
And I haven't had a migraine since I've been doing it. Don't know, because I don't understand.
Did they put a pin in your hand then?
No, all over your body, mate.
Do you have to stand up or like that?
You know, but it depends. I've actually been led down. I've also been sat down and bent over, like the treatment couch.
Okay.
Go down this little trail here. Yeah, and actually, more than anything, I'd say that the biggest benefit I've got from doing it has been this trail leads nowhere. Oh no, we're doing it. It's cool. It's a bit more traily now. We're going into the rugged pass.
Over a tree.
Yeah.
This is right for my rotation.
It's all right, mate. Just test them out. I have been down here before, but this route has, unfortunately, got a lot of tree fall. So we're going to have to double back on ourselves. So,
This is the joy of running.
yeah, and also in the winter when you don't know what's going on with the route so much because of tree fall. I just feel really relaxed after the acupuncture.
Yeah, I think so. It also helps. I think quite a lot of my shoulders is tension and stress.
Yeah.
It really helps with my emotional well-being. And a couple of nights after I had it, I sleep so well.
Yeah.
And is it, both for you, is it quite reasonable? Is it expensive or is it?
I pay £40 for 45 minutes. So I have,
So like a sports massage
Yeah.
with pins.
yeah, with pins, I cup in.
Yeah.
I have it,
And actually less brutal, I find.
yeah.
Okay.
And I've had, with my back, I've had various like sports massages.
Yeah.
I've tried chiropractors, osteopaths, and nothing's helped it like acupuncture.
Yeah.
So I have maintenance sessions every 2 months, and also my self-care as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, time to yourself, yeah. Well, you don't have to think about anything, yeah. It does work.
I might give it a go.
I would
Yeah.
definitely recommend it.
Yeah. I'd probably done like a similar thing at home, actually. But I used to try and do the planks, and then my dog would sort of jump on my back, and her nails, because a little bit the same, is he? Maybe scrub that a bit out. Martin.
Well, I'm not. I'm going to leave it in there because we like it raw. Okay, so we're at about 58 minutes, so I think we're going to start wrapping things up now. But first of all, Joe, thank you very much for coming on Stride by Stride and run with us today.
Been brilliant.
Thank you for having me, and also thank you for getting me out of bed on this beautiful Saturday morning, and the views along the river have been lovely. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. Well,
It's what I'd say is interesting for listeners, and I can't bore people too much.
I've enjoyed listening to your story, Joe.
I feel like I know you a bit better. I really enjoyed it. But sort of wrapping up, what would you say are your 3 top tips for running? Because obviously you've been running for quite a while now.
Enjoy it.
Yep.
Try not to put too much pressure on yourself,
Okay.
and find a local running club.
Well, have got any in mind?
Well, I've heard there's a good local one.
Well, like Stable Hill Runners.
Yeah, and Brecon.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be my 3 tips. Enjoy
Brilliant.
it, take the pressure off, and find a local running club.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe. So you've been listening to Stride by Stride today. Join us next time where we'll be talking with our chairman, Neil Newman, who'll be telling us about the origins of Emerson's Green Running Club.
really can't wait for that. That's going to be really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And until then, you've been listening to Stride by Stride. I've been Martin,
I've been Josh.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.